My first education business sprawled. And I want to be clear that it wasn't a mistake at the time, but repeating it now would be a mistake. This video is about why sprawl happened in that business and why focus now is non negotiable for me. 15 years ago, in 2011, I built my first education business. This business sprawled. I was building this business in a small market. In fact, it was an island nation. And at the time, online learning wasn't normal. Online payments were not trusted, and people were not accustomed to learning the curriculum in an online environment. So it was an uphill battle. There was also no market data. There were no playbooks or examples that I could follow. Even the way people used the internet back then was completely different. I didn't know what would stick, so I tried a lot of things. I checked some Google search data and saw that people were looking for exam past papers, so I started with that. But then I made a classic beginner mistake. I started building things that were cool, not necessarily useful. For example, I thought it would be cool if there was one central hub where students and parents and homeschoolers and teachers can access content from all of the different subjects throughout the national curriculum. And what I found out was that cool ideas can feel productive, but they can be dangerous. So here's what Sprawl actually did. I was serving a tiny market, but in a very wide way. And each of those subjects that I attempted to provide support for had its own curriculum. And each curriculum had dozens of topics. There was no way one person bootstrapping a business could do this well. And so people kept asking me for more. They wanted more subjects, more resources. They wanted me to go into more depth, and I couldn't keep up. Eventually, my business became limited by what I could personally produce, not by what the audience actually needed. And that's not a good place for a business to be. So, sprawl can feel like creativity, but in small markets with small budgets, it's actually dilution. You end up busy, fatigued, and eventually underserving everybody. I wasn't building a system, instead, I was just reacting. But this time, I'm taking a different approach. In 2025, I began building my second education business, and I've decided to take a different approach, one that is more focused. This time, I'm serving a much larger market, but I'm doing it through a much narrower lens. One subject area, one learning approach, and one clear direction. The learning approach that I've chosen is visual learning. Visual learning isn't just a teaching choice, it's an actual business choice. This time, I have lots of market data to work with and build from. And narrowing down doesn't limit me. Instead, it frees me because now I have a lower cognitive load. I can be involved in deeper thinking, and there are fewer distractions in the business. And unlike with my first business, I'm able to serve my market very well. And also, I can focus on building the business behind the product, like the systems and the structure and the things that make business more sustainable. I like to think of it like this. I have business goals, but when I take a sprawling approach, it's like I'm firing in every direction with the hope that something would hit the target. But when I take a focused approach, it's like a laser beam. So we have the same energy, but completely different results. That's the difference between my first business and this one. If you know a lot, or if you have too many ideas, and if choosing one feels like you're abandoning something else, you're not losing anything. In fact, you're gaining clarity, and the people that you serve will get something better. These videos are just me sharing what's crossing my desk as I build. And if you're building something too, maybe this helps you choose faster than I did. I'll see you in the next one.